Hi, and welcome to this special St. Patrick's Day edition of the Mormon Meat Locker. I am Cable the Party Jenkins. I have my co-host Caroline Kingsley with us tonight. And tonight we have Monica Moore Smith.
Yes, correct. You said it right. There's so much.
Monica is the star of the new remake of Saturday's Warrior, and we're really happy to have her on the show with us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Monica?
Okay, a few things. I am, well, you said in Saturday's Warrior, I am an actress. I've done a lot of acting with the church, so I'm very involved with the LDS, the motion pictures. Before I got into acting, I actually did Kempo karate competitively, so I did that all growing up and up until high school about is when I started acting and quit karate. I love British television and Netflix. So what else? Does that sum it up?
What are TV shows or movies or commercials that we would maybe know about that you've been in before Saturday's Warrior?
The one that I think I get most recognized from, I do like Mormon Messages. So if you've seen Bullying Stop It, which is a Mormon message that came out, I think like 2 years ago. And a lot of people recognize me from it, but they kind of like hesitate just because I look pretty different. I'm the one in the turtleneck. I get bullied in it. There's like a meme about me that gets like spread, and it's an anti-bullying video. So I think that's one. Or like the New Era cover, I've done that. And I actually have a video church series coming out, I think, this year.
Oh, cool. What kind of series is that?
I'm not allowed to say it.
I was gonna. Darn it, we can't break the news here, huh?
No, I can't exactly say much about it. I've been working on it for a year now, so it's definitely a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into it, but I hope people love it. I think it's going to be great. So.
Cool. So what was the process like for getting on the Saturday's Warrior? You have an audition, you see a call for something, or what did that look like?
Well, I was in Florida just on vacation when I got an email because one of the directors I worked with previously knew Lexi Azevedo, and who is the composer and creator of Saturday's Warrior, right? And so she recommended me to them, and so they contacted me and asked me to like send in a video. So I actually was gone. I was out of town, so I just sent like a link to my YouTube, to some like YouTube videos I had of me reading stuff and me singing. And then after that, they called me in, and this was something like I didn't think I would get in. I didn't know any of these people. This was new to me, so I just kind of like went in just for fun, not thinking anything of it. And I read for them, and this was I think like end of spring last year. And then I went in over the whole summer, and I'd go in and I'd read with all these different people, all these different like Todds and Wallies and like the characters opposite of me. I do this for all over the summer, and then at the end of the summer, I finally went in, and they told me I got the part. So it was a long process.
Wow, that's amazing. I actually went to the composer's studio a few months ago.
Yeah.
Just a random thing, and he knew my dad back when my dad was a musician and stuff, so we're talking about that. But I didn't know about Saturday's Warrior coming out before, and so he was talking to me about it, and it was fun to hear some of those details, especially from insider's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about today. So a little bit about the movie. Is it an actual remake of the original one? Is it kind of true to the original one, or is it something that comes after it, or
the original
the original Saturday's Warrior?
Okay, well, it is set in the 70s, so that is true to that, and I think there's a lot of, we keep the integrity of what people loved about the original Saturday's Warrior, but because it's adapted to film, you do have to change some things for it to work, because there's a difference between the original show, which was on stage, to a movie. So you've got to make some changes, but I think we keep the integrity of what's best about it, and then make adjustments where needed. But it's still set in the 70s, still true to truth.
I love that it's set in the 70s. I'm really excited about that, to see how you guys, kept that look going.
70s are coming back in, though. That's like, getting the wardrobe was actually not too hard, considering like Forever 21 or any of those places. Like 70s clothes are in now, so.
Yeah, it's good to know. I never know these things.
You
All
like the 70s, this is your era.
right. Okay, cool. So what was it like working on the set?
This was actually with Saturday's Warrior. There was something really special about this one because I've been on lots of sets before, but I think what was unique about this is that we all kind of came together. We're all different. Everyone has their own backgrounds. You've got the cast and the crew. There's tons and tons of people, but no matter where we came from, we kind of all came together to support each other and to create this wonderful remake and this piece of art. And there was really something special. It was kind of just like a family, honestly, just like a second family. And when you're spending all day with them, like overnight, and you're tired and you're cranky and like you just want to like go home and get sleep, like you want to be with people you trust and you love, and that's exactly what this was. So it was like dream come true. Hallelujah.
That's awesome. So is it like withdrawals when it ends?
What?
Is it like withdrawals then when the process ends and you suddenly you're like alone and it's quiet
Yes.
and you're getting sleep?
I cried. I bawled my eyes out on the last day. And it was like we were shooting a serious scene, so I was already crying in the scene. And then when they said we were wrapped, I just like lost it. I lost it. It was too hard. So yes, withdrawals for sure.
Cool. When did you guys finish production?
We finished the like initial production in October. I don't remember the exact date, but like was it the end of October, mid-October, something like that. But then of course you have ADR, and then you have like we add a scene or like reshoots or
Sure.
something, which we did just a couple months ago, like 2 months ago. So
Sure.
leave it, but you're still going back and doing new stuff. So it's kind of fun.
Do you find yourself like kind of keeping in touch with the people still? I mean, obviously you do the publicity and stuff too as well, but are you like texting people from it
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
sure.
Actually, like right now, like right now, I'm getting texts from Allison, who plays my mom, and Anna, who plays my sister. So it's like we're like a legitimate family. We keep in touch. We hang out. Like we went bowling together. We went to like a haunted house. We definitely stay in touch all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. So has it informed your opinion of the first one, being on this other one, or of the play, I guess, of Saturday's Warrior?
Well, I wasn't alive when when the play was out, so I never got to see like the original '70s. So I've seen the '80s movie though. But what do you mean by like informed? Like changed my
Well,
more?
yeah, no, I didn't actually. I didn't really grow up with it either. I think all my other friends' families did. I didn't grow up in it. Oh, there's my
Oh,
ceiling.
oh,
Technical problem. But I didn't grow up in a very Mormon household. I was the only Mormon, so my parents weren't putting it on. So I saw it later with some friends. But I'm just curious if like you did watch it a bit growing up. If you have a different opinion of it now that you've made a remake of it.
I have seen it. I haven't seen it for a while, but it was something that was present in my life. But I think when you remake something, you kind of, you develop this character and you're listening to the music all the time and you're thinking through these characters' lives, like it definitely grows on you. And I think now more than ever it means something to me because now it's personal. So
Sure.
it's definitely changed my view on it and it's become something that's a part of me versus just like a movie that was more, like my parents' generation, but now it's like become a part of my generation. So it's like passed down.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about your character.
My character is Julie Flinders, and she's a part of the Flinders family, which, if you don't know, the story kind of revolves mostly around Jimmy, who is actually my brother, played by Kenny Holland. And it kind of mainly revolves around him, but we have like an ensemble cast. And with my character, hers is kind of a coming of age, and she's dating. Oh my gosh, it's crazy for her. And you guys know, dating is crazy, and she's definitely going through that right now and kind of trying to learn the ropes of that and relationships and getting stuck in bad relationships or going too fast. And she kind of learns to, like, her learning curve is just kind of being able to step back and calm down and learn to love herself first and develop herself first so that when relationships come along and when she's ready to date, she's ready for it, you know, and she knows who she is and she's solid in that before she just like goes crazy and gets anxious about all this stuff. So I think her story is definitely heavily involved with dating and romance and relationships and all the ups and downs we get with that. So it's definitely like she's learning a lot through it, but also me playing her learned a lot through her journey as well. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might know something about that, huh, Cable?
Yeah, just a little bit. So, Monica, how much of Julie's character were you able to pull from your own life? Like, were there similarities, especially when it comes to dating and things like that?
You know, it's funny because I feel like dating there's a lot of similarities between us personality-wise, but as far as like her dating record, she's like opposite. She's like very like fast, ready, like let's get this done, like boyfriend, and I'm kind of like, no, I'm like the opposite of her in that respect. So I think it's kind of interesting to have like play with a parallel to me, but yeah, she's a little bit more jumping on that than I am, for sure.
So kind of like Caroline versus me. Kind of.
There's the difference. That's Julie versus Mom.
Oh, great. Are there any parallels to kind of singleness from this movie? Like, obviously, everyone who's listening to this and us, we're all single.
Yeah. Yes.
So, as a single person going to see this movie, are there things that are really going to draw us in?
I think kind of, I guess, reiterating back to what I said before with dating, I feel like oftentimes we use it as a way to like validate ourselves and to feel good about ourselves, or we feel like we like need someone because da 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 da, and when maybe we're not ready, or we're taking the wrong approach and looking at it like, what can this person do for me instead of what can I do for them, or what can I. So I think with this, it kind of just helps you, like when you watch it, I think just kind of take a step back and think through it more and just not worry about it so much that it's like you can take your time and you can be yourself and that's okay, and you go at your own pace and you don't need to match up with someone else, or you don't need to, you know, just get with someone because they match your checklist, or, you know, I think it just kind of gives you a way to step back and look at it from a different perspective, I think, in that way, if that makes sense.
Well, and you mentioned that you're kind of the opposite, that you've been sort of maybe more standoffish when it comes to dating and jumping into things. Do you feel like that you kind of through the character, it sounds like you may have gotten like kind of at least a different insight into a different way of doing things. Have you done anything differently since, or thought about dating a little bit differently since? Changed your approach at all?
Yeah, I think with me playing Julie, because she's so much more out there when it comes to dating, for me it was good because it kind of like pulled me out a little bit more and made me like realize it's okay to be out there, it's okay to put yourself out there and date and like people. And for me, because I was like just the complete opposite, more like I'm not going to do that, that's like, I don't know. So I think with playing her, it just got me out of my shell a little more when it comes to dating, because I'm super outgoing, but dating is like, I don't know, just something I was not super experienced in, didn't really do a ton of. So I think playing her, just because she was so opposite, kind of like pulled me out of my shell a little bit.
Sure. Okay. Well, and you said that the storyline is a little bit different than the play was, right? It's a different story, but still set in the 70s.
It's set in the 70s. It's the same story, but there's some like little differences, or like we like cut some things and, you know, put something else in place of it, but it was all for like bettering the story. It wasn't just like cutting things to cut things, but it's essentially the same.
And kind of, will you remind us of what the storyline is? Because I have not seen it since probably elementary school, junior high. So,
well, yeah, I'd love to. So it revolves around this character named Jimmy Flinders, who's my brother in the story, and he's actually played by Kenny Holland. If you don't know, he's like a big Viner. He's got millions of followers, so he's kind of a big deal. And it's kind of this prodigal son coming of age story for him. And he's kind of struggling between following his dreams and his career and what he's passionate about and staying strong in his faith and what he believes in and what's important. And I think what he comes to learn that it's like there's more to life than just this life. There's more to life than just being cool or trying to change yourself to look a certain way so that you can please people that you don't care about, you know? And he kind of learns to balance what he loves to do and what really matters and kind of uses his talents and his art in the end to, you know, better himself and better other people instead of just, you know, giving in peer pressure and following the crowd because, you know, that's easier to do.
Right. Well, and that I would think would be a parallel with singles as well. That I think we're all trying to find that balance. You know, whether we've been single for a long time or whether we're going through divorce, been through divorce, I guess. You're trying to find that balance between your life, all the struggles that you have, and religion. And I think there's a lot of people that have left the church because that struggle has been really great, and the challenges are so great.
Yes.
And so, I think that could speak to that as well.
Yes, I think there's a parallel there as well.
And when does it come out? On April?
It comes out 1st is when it premieres March 30th, so that's like a premiere, in which I think there's still tickets for that. So if you want to come to the premiere, meet the cast, get some autographs, Q&A, that's March 30th.
Okay.
And it hits theaters first.
Okay, that's cool. And where is that? At Jordan Commons?
Jordan Commons, yes.
March, okay. Okay.
And the third one, I think there's still tickets for the third one, but the other two are sold out. So.
Really? Okay, so snatch them up, huh? Well, that'd be cool to be in it. And did you say there was a Q&A with it?
I believe we're gonna have some Q&As, or at least you get to talk to us afterwards. I don't know all the details.
Sure.
Definitely
know when you need to show up.
I know that, and we will be dressed up, and yeah, so there's gonna be signing and talking and just getting to know the cast, all that good stuff.
And it's definitely wide release on April 1st, right? On April Fool's Day, it's not,
It's not
show up and it's a joke.
Like, is this real? Is this like a spoof? Like, I promise you, I did not do all this filming for a joke. So it's real. It's legitimate. So it's not a joke.
What are some of your goals moving down the road from this, and jumping from this one?
I mean, I'd love to do acting and continue that and continue pursuing that as my career. Of course, that's definitely hard, and that's not always like a given that that'll work out, but I hope, I'd love to do it. And personally, for me, what I love about film and the arts is that, I mean, I think a lot of it's abused, and I think we use it in the wrong way. And it's something that is super powerful and super influential. And nowadays, at our fingertips, we're around media all the time. So for me, I want to use media as like a magnifying glass to spread the gospel, to spread good messages, to be wholesome and uplifting. And that's kind of what keeps me going in this business. So whatever I'm doing in this, even if it's not like huge big films or whatever, as long as I'm doing something that is meaningful, purposeful, and changing people for the better, then that's really what I want. So I'd be happy with that.
I love that. And I was about to ask, and that kind of touched on what I was about to ask, is as an actress, what is it like being an actress in LDS? Are there challenges to that?
There are some challenges. I think especially with being LDS in this business, I feel like you have to be really LDS or like kind of pretend you're not LDS and kind of just, like I'm LDS when it's convenient, and then, and then when you go to LA, it's kind of like you kind of lose it. So I feel like it's something you have to be really solid in before you go into it. You have to decide, like, these are my morals, this is where I'm staying, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm not going to do. Because if you don't decide beforehand, once you get in those situations where you're tried and you're tested to see if you'll, bend your rules, if you haven't decided beforehand, you're just going to kind of get carried away. And I think that's something that's definitely you got to do in order to keep that up.
And that's probably the case in anything. If you don't make a firm decision ahead of time, you're probably not going to be able to stick to something.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And
really.
are you're based in Utah or are you in LA?
I'm in Utah.
In Utah. Okay. Do you plan on staying in Utah or do you think that acting might take you out to LA?
Right now I'm staying in Utah, but I would love to go out. I don't know like when or exactly plan yet. Right now I'm kind of seeing how things work out in Utah, but I would definitely at some point love to go to LA.
Cool. So do you have any behind the scenes stories of working on Saturday's Warrior that might be interesting when we're watching and being like, oh, that's cool. I know something behind that or
Oh yes, okay. So let's see. I don't know where to start. Let's see. Like, well, if you see a blooper reel, I can tell you that it's probably mostly me tripping because literally I have these like massive platform heels that I wear in the show a lot because I was, or not platform, I don't know what it's called, but because that was popular in the 70s, so I had like these massive shoes, so I'm always tripping all over the place, so that's probably going to be in the blooper reel. Also, okay, well, this is kind of embarrassing. This is really embarrassing.
good.
But I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna spill it because pretty much probably everyone's gonna find out. Anyways, so and this kind of has to apply to dating, and it'll show you how like reserved I am when it comes to that. Because so this was the second day of shooting. I can't believe I'm saying this. Okay, this was second day of shooting, and Mason, who plays opposite of me, opposite of Julie's character Todd, the love interest of the story. I had met him once before this, so yeah, so I met him at the last callback. It was the first time we ever read together, and then like the next week we were filming all our romantic scenes. I met him twice, right? And so we're filming. I think you see if you've seen the like teaser trailer, there's like clips of us in the mountains and like in this beautiful landscape, with, like a picnic blanket, and we're like dressed in like white and a dress, and he's in a suit, and we get to this is I think at the end of the day we get to one part where we're in the script. It's like we're just like holding hands or something, right? And we're in the middle of this beautiful whatever it's called, and Michael Buster, the director, comes out to us, and we're about to shoot it, and this is with the drone, so we're kind of out there, like, by ourselves. Michael Buster comes to talk to me. We're supposed to just, like, hold hands in this shot, right? So that's what I'm expecting. Then he's like, hey, so do you want to, like, make out right now? Like, do, like, this big kissing scene. And so it's, like, out of the blue, wasn't in the script, wasn't going to happen. I've met him twice, and we're, like, in this beautiful place with like a picnic blanket and like all this crew watching with cameras all staring at us, and he's like, hey, can you just do this on the fly? And he actually said like, let's just try it once and then we can go back to the normal shot, but let's just try it once. And so we did the kissing thing once, and then he was like, you know what, let's scratch the other one, let's just like, kept doing it over and over again. So he's like, can you just like imagine like you've met this person twice, there's like all these people watching you, like, whoo, second day of shooting. So I was already nervous about everything, and then that was sprung on me, and that was just a party. But yeah. So
especially for someone that doesn't jump into things.
What?
That must be, especially for someone that doesn't jump into things, that must be a challenge.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's funny because I'm like very outgoing and very much gung-ho about a lot of things, but that's like the one thing I'm like, whoa, okay, put on the brakes, hold up. So that was like good.
Do you think he did it on purpose? Didn't put it in the script so he could just like spring it on you and you not be nervous ahead of time?
I don't know. I don't think he like would have done it as like a joke to like get at me or anything. But I think I think it was something he was honestly deciding whether he wanted or not. But also, it gave me a chance to like not overthink it. So
I was thinking maybe so that you wouldn't. And by the way, in case no one saw Cable when he spoke, Cable is in fact here, but he might be hard to see. Cable, do you want to say something?
Yeah, that sounds like a fun day at work.
It's a special kind of job, isn't it? You don't get to do normal. normal desk job. So quite the experience. I can say that.
Wow, it's the beauty of film is you never know what you're going to be doing, right?
No, no, you don't. It's very much just kind of improv sprung on you, but it's very fun. It's very fun.
Well,
Cable,
that's
don't you wish that was sprung on you more?
What?
I said, Cable, don't you wish that was sprung on you more?
right.
If anyone wants to spring a makeout scene on Cable, I'm just gonna say, go ahead.
Talk to Michael Lester. I can own that.
Well, that's a lot like dating too, because you get a lot of situations sprung on you that you're not necessarily prepared for, and you just have to deal with it on the fly, right? So it's similar to that in that something happens and you just got to deal with it, and
Yes.
you got to go with it, and you might not be super comfortable about it, but
No.
that's sometimes when you do your best work is when it's something you're super comfortable with.
Yep.
And sometimes it's a makeout situation they spring on you. You're like, whoa, I just met you.
Mason's great though. I'm not saying, but it just was a surprise. I will say that.
So you're saying he's a good kisser.
Maybe we should have had him on the show as well. All right. Well,
and we can talk about that. Oh, are you just trying to make this hard for me?
all right. Well, it is time to start wrapping up, but we really appreciate you coming on, Monica. Any pearls of wisdom about dating you want to leave with our viewers?
I'm not gonna act like I'm super experienced or anything, 'cause I'm not. But from my little pearl of experience that I've had, I find dating to be the funnest when you just like relax and you just like try and make the date fun for the other person. And once you worry about them, you forget about yourself and you just have fun, you know? And then that's when it opens up the door to like get to know people and figure out what you want. And so I think just like relax, it's okay, calm down and just have fun and focus on making a good time for the other person. I think that's how it goes best. Yeah.
Awesome, I love it.
I think that's some great advice. So.
Well, thank you. Well, I try.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited to see the movie. I'm going to try to make it for sure when you guys are going to be there. And
Yes, it's going to be a party. I get to meet the cast. So
Very excited.
plus, I'm still nervous. It's not going to, happen on April Fool's Day, but we'll see.
just in case. But it is real, I promise.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Everyone go out and see Saturday's Warrior, see Monica in all her splendor on the big screen. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for our viewers for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Sweet. Go see it. Saturday's Warrior.